So I will go ahead and launch my network analyzer application. And my VNAs are in slots 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, and 6 really. And then my SMUs are in 14, 16, 17. So I want to have those all selected and I will say run. And I'm using my FieldFox to provide as kind of a power supply to BIOS my LNA just because I had the right connectors and adapters and so forth. It was easy for me to hook it up. And the setup is really, there's the LNA and I've connected the ground and the plus voltages to this sense plus and minus on the SMU. And this thing has an adapter that comes with it. I just didn't have one around. So I just used those clips. So you can use, I'm using one SMU, but you can use multiple ones. So let's set it up for our amp first. My frequency is 1420 megahertz. We'll do a span of 200 meg. Let's do a power of minus 20 dBm. I messed up the frequency. Let's do frequency 1420 megahertz, span 200. Okay. And my amplifier is connected between ports 4 and 1. So we do an S4-1, turn on a marker, and now I will go ahead and turn my source on. And there is approximately my 34 dB of gain on the amplifier. Now, if I want to add the SMU, I just go to Instrument, Setup, Internal Hardware, PXI devices, and it shows up here because it recognized it. And let me make this darker so we can see it. And then this is just the way that we're using it as a DMM, as a multimeter where you're not using the source, but to enable it, you have to turn it on, even though we're not using the outputs. So I'm going to just turn these on and set this on. Now we can use it as a DMM. So all I will do is I will add a new trace. And I go into auxiliary. And here in this drop-down menu, now I get all those choices, current, voltage, and so forth. So I'm doing SMU1 voltage. I will say apply, add. And if I put the markers there, and let's make these markers a bit bigger so we can see them easier. Move it out. So there is my 8 volts. So and there's my 34 dB gain. So here I can see if I make this, for example, 10 volts, there, now that, I can move it down a bit or something like that. So there's my 10 volts. So I can vary this and you can see that it's updating here. And this is a 201 point sweep at 100 kHz bandwidth and it's updating it fast. I can also add the other traces if I wanted to. I can go instrument trace, new traces. I can add SMU to the voltage. If I wanted to add SMU 3, and if we had a fourth one, it would show up on the list, and these simply show up as traces. So it's pretty simple to add them and make the measurements.